Hey guys, welcome to the fuckery out here. So like I said in the last video, what we got going on is we have a broken motor mount on my tow vehicle here, the Avalanche, and we're trying to get it out. This is the new motor mount here. Kind of brought you guys in right in the middle of it, but you know, should be a simple job, and if this was a two-wheel drive it would be, because we can get to everything from underneath there, but it's not. It's four-wheel drive, so transfer case and front drive shafts in the way. This is not going to be a tutorial, guys. That's why I brought you in the middle of it. I was just kind of show you what we had going on today. But we took the driver's side wheel off. I got two of the motor mount bolts out from up here. Ray's getting the third bolt that bolts to the frame out from the driver's side wheel well. I'm hoping, I know some people have said you have to take the steering shaft out to get access to the 4 bolts that go into the engine block, but I'm hoping we can avoid that. So that's where we're at right now. I'll tell you what, guys, this is one of those just super aggravating jobs that really shouldn't be. This heat shield on the engine mount here is just completely in the way. Like, I can't see what I'm doing. I keep dropping my ratchet trying to get it back in there, and even once I get it on there, there's no room to turn it. This is just it's aggravating. Okay, so even after we got this guy loose, we could not get it out of the vehicle. What we had to do is flip it around with a pry bar and all kinds of grunts and moans and take this plate loose off the bottom, and at that point we were able to get enough room to finagle this thing out. You can see where the mount's broke here. I mean, it's completely shot, and yeah, and this heat shield right here is the main reason that we had to disassemble it to remove it. That heat shield, just we couldn't pull it out from the top or bottom. Which way did this go, Ray? Like this, or the other way?
Other way.
Like that. And now that we got it out, see, I was under the impression that all the trucks and SUVs use the same mount, but it turns out they do not. So the engine mount that we have is about 1.5 inches or 2 inches shorter than this mount here. So we're gonna have to, oh, and it also does not have this locator dial here for when you're setting it back down. So at this point, we're gonna have to go to the auto parts store and I guess get a new mount. Our new engine plate or engine mount, 88 bucks at freaking.
We'll use these.
I just figured those were bigger.
Well, they're the same size sockets we've been using.
You've got to transfer this plate over. We are not going to put this fucking heat shield back on, are we, Ray?
No.
I'm just telling you guys, this heat shield is the reason it took us forever to get this mount off, I think, because it hides all the bolts from you. You can't see what you're doing. It's just totally in the fucking way, and yeah, fuck that heat shield.
There's where it goes.
Now, I'm not sure if we're going to be able, yeah, this is the mount that we had, and it's just, I mean, it's not even close to fitting. Yeah, that's nowhere near it.
Okay, let's see if we can get this inside.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to put this in first and then bolt that plate to it, because we had to disassemble the old one to get it out. There's just not enough room to get it in with the plate bolted to it.
I'll tell you what, this right here is going to save you. You bolt it onto the engine.
Right.
Put this pin.
Yeah, that locator pin.
Yes.
Yep, that's the idea. All right, guys.
Oh, get a picture of this. Hey. Which way that go on?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can kind of see there is just not a whole hell of a lot of room in here, but.
Yeah, but now I'm trying to figure out which way.
Anyway, like I said, this isn't really a tutorial, so we're gonna try to get this in here past everything, get this plate bolted on, then spin it around and get it bolted down. Motor mount is on. No more jumping engine. Like I said, I did leave that freaking heat shield off, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I would rather replace 3 of these motor mounts without the heat shield than 1 more motor mount with it. Like, that heat shield just makes it way, way, way harder than it has to be. I realize the heat shield is there to protect the rubber from the manifold, but the new mount has a lifetime warranty, and like I even told Ray after we got this one on, I was like, you know what, I wouldn't even care to have to replace this again in 2 or 3 years, as long as I didn't have to deal with that heat shield. Like, without the heat shield, this would probably be like a 45-minute job. Just because of that heat shield, it took us several hours. It was just ridiculous. All right, guys, so we had a little change of plans and came over here to Ray's. Ray's got some, I actually made just a small batch of #Drnova decals. So I gave them all to Ray. So he's putting some on the Nova here. He's trying to figure out where to put it. Where you wanting to put it?
Here.
In the middle.
Well, I don't know. I mean, as long as it's on the back, because that's where people are going to see it. Yeah, guys, so what's going on is after we finished the Avalanche, we went inside, and Ray's put some miles on the Nova lately. He's actually got it a little over 300 miles now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drive the Nova back home. We went on the computer earlier and we ordered all the parts to build the rear end. So we're almost ready to start doing the wide open throttle tuning on it. Problem is, it's an open rear end, 308 gear ratio. So what he decided he wanted was a 373 and a limited slip. So we ordered all the stuff to do that. I'm taking the Nova home. We are not going to be doing the rear end build ourselves. I actually have a guy that builds all my rear ends for me. So next week sometime, hopefully the parts will come in and I can take it, get the rear end done. The plan is, once the rear end is done, hopefully by then, you know, we'll have our 500 miles or whatever on the engine, and we can start doing the wide open throttle tune. Okay, guys, I'm not even going to lie to you. So this is day 2. What happened was I got to Ray's yesterday, and well, let's just say the beer and the moonshine came out, and that was pretty much the end of my day. But we got the Nova home today, and she is ready for her first oil change. So the point of me having the Nova over here, I was going to drive the Chaos Camaro home, but we decided to bring the Nova home instead because Ray decided he wanted to go ahead and order the parts to get the rear end built. So what's going on now, so I think I already mentioned it, but obviously I've drank and slept since then. So what we did is we ordered 373 gears and a posi unit, a limited slip unit for the rear end. I'm not going to be doing that work, guys. I actually have a guy that builds my rear ends. So he built the rear end in Project Steppenwolf a while back. We're going to let him do this one too. So brought the car over here. I'm going to do the first oil change on it, and then I have to get a hold of Robbie and find out when he wants me to bring the car over there so he can build the rear end. Because even though we've got the miles on the car now and I'm ready to do the wide open throttle tuning, it's going to be kind of pointless with what we got going on with the rear end, because right now anything over half throttle just smokes the tire. So Robbie's building the rear end. I believe Ray is actually going to order another set of wheels just like we have on it, just to put a set of drag radials on. So that's going to be his strip only wheels and tires, and yeah, we might end up just doing most of the wide open throttle tuning at the drag strip. I think that would be pretty cool, because that way you guys can kind of see tuned versus untuned, how much of a difference it makes, you know, when you take your car out and it's not tuned. And then I'm going to be adjusting the fueling, maybe throwing some more timing in it while we're at the drag strip, and we can just see how it gets faster and faster on every pass. Okay, so we got all the oil drained out. I can see in the oil maybe just a light hazing of what's probably aluminum. I don't see any like I mean, like, it's not even shimmery, guys. It's just normal, like, break-in bare material. Break-in bearing material. If you guys have ever broken in an engine, you know, you get just a little bit of bearing material. kind of shows up as just a light gray mixed in with your oil there. That's all I've got. I've got nothing that you can even actually see. And I like to just, this is just a sample, about maybe 1.5 quart, 2 quarts that I pulled out of the main drainage container, or I pulled out before I drained the rest into the drainage container. And I like to just run a magnet around in it, look for any particles that stick to it, any metal. And yeah, I got nothing, guys. I mean, it looks good. We don't have any excess material or anything in our first oil change, so I'm going to put a new filter on, and I'll probably cut the filter open later. I got to find my little can opener. I call it a can opener, but it's a tool I bought years and years ago to cut open my filters with. I will have to find that and cut open that filter, but for now, after examining the first oil change, I'm pretty happy with it. I think we're good. Now, you guys that have been following the channel for a while know that all I run is Mobil 1 full synthetic and AC Delco filters. So, you know, if you don't like them, that's your decision, but this is what I've run in all my vehicles for probably 20 plus years, and this is what I'm going to continue to run. So I'm going to go ahead, get the new filter put on, and fill this sucker up. You might also remember from the startup video, when I break in the engines, usually I just, you know, I throw in the cheap shit. Like this thing's been running off just Walmart conventional oil for the last few hundred miles. That's what I usually break stuff in with, because after, you know, 300, 400, 500 miles, I know I'm going to have to drain down anyway. So there's no use in spending more than like 10 or 12 bucks on that very first oil that you put in there. The exception to that is if you're building, you know, like an older small block Chevy that uses flat tappet cams, you're going to want to put a zinc additive or something like that in there. But you really don't need expensive break-in oil, guys. Save the good oil for after the break-in's done. So in a moment of stupidity, I just realized I actually bought a PF46E filter instead of the PF48 filter that I was supposed to buy. So I didn't even realize that until I got under the car and went to screw it on, and it wouldn't screw on. So did not have any extras in the shop here, so had to go to Walmart real quick and buy one, but I'm gonna get this sucker on. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. We got the oil changed in it. She's ready to go. Tomorrow I will be calling Robbie, trying to figure out when I'm gonna take it to get the rear end done. We are waiting on the parts. I do not have an arrival date on those yet, so that's going to kind of factor into when we can get it finished. But that's pretty much it for now, guys. You know, we're ready to get the rear end done. As soon as I get this thing to Robbie's, I'm probably going to go ahead and bring the Camaro over here, and I've already got some parts to get started on putting on that thing. So we want to get it over here as soon as possible and get started. But for now, I'm going to go in here and get cleaned up. So I want to thank all of you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, think about clicking that subscribe button. If you're a long-time subscriber, thanks for watching, guys. Now get out in the garage, get something done, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.